Well, that's good. Then you'll be able to have a lot of time to read my book.
I know. That's why I was like, I should read it. So I pulled it up on my phone, and I was like, I can't even focus my eyeballs. I like made it darker, did dark mode, light mode, didn't matter. Nothing mattered.
Can't do.
I couldn't watch videos. I couldn't go on Reddit. I was just like, this is the worst.
Okay. All right. Are we groovy?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Just doing these intros because I'm fucking lazy, by the way. I'm not like saying we need to keep doing this.
No,
This is my lazy intro.
it's fine.
It's good. Tonight on the 3-Bit Gamer Show, perverts are mad again about the
Wait, hold on.
scourge.
Stop. You start over, but you have to go just a tiny bit softer because you're getting that feedback.
Tonight on the 3-Bit Gamer Show, perverts are mad again about the scourge that is cleavage reduction in their video games. Peterson finds out there's going to be a new Deadpool movie, and then we take 2 games, boil them, mash them, and stick them in Dear Game Devs. You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And we're keeping it lazy tonight.
Yeah, we're just gonna go nice and easy tonight. Some days the creative juices are flowing. Some days they're just
some days they're just today.
It's like a creative cesspool. That's where I'm at. So creative cesspool.
Put on your snorkel.
Hope you're excited. Hope you're excited for this episode. I just said it was a creative cesspool.
Dude, this is a fair warning to everyone. We already got your listener number. You're like 30 seconds in. You want to tap out of this cesspool? We won't hold it against you.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
All right. The news is brought to us by our friends and coworkers at Crave Cookies.
Criggity crave.
Crave Cookies is this cookie shop that you can find online, on apps, or on the streets.
Dude, take it to the streets.
You said it was the streets, but we're glowing right now.
The cookie shop for the streets.
Go to cravecookies.com. You can follow along. You'll find there that not only does Crave Cookies have a lot of different locations these days, but Crave Cookies also has a rotating weekly cookie menu, which is pretty smart. So you can always get a new flavor. If you just don't like the flavor lineup, just wait a week. You get a new one. Usually you get the new menu dropping on Friday, but because you listen to this show and you're loyal listeners and or you're just fans of Crave Cookies and you turn it off after this part. Like, I wish you wouldn't yak so much beforehand.
Like, why are you guys talking about video games? This is the Crave Cookie podcast.
But we give you the rotating menu a couple days early so you can anticipate, you can plan your dessert week around this podcast. So this Friday coming up on the Crave Cookies menu, obviously we got the chocolate chip, the peanut butter cup. This is the last week for the peanut butter cup. If you guys aren't aware, that one has a Reese's peanut butter cup in the middle, and it's got crushed up Butterfinger bars in the dough, which is kind of nice.
It's not very sweet, so
yeah, it's not sweet at all. It's almost sour.
It's barely a dessert.
So that's the last week for the peanut butter cup. We've also got the cannoli cookie.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we got tiny little chocolate chips for that delivered last week. Look, I don't know how this is going to come out. It doesn't seem easy. It doesn't sound easy to make, but for you guys,
have you looked at how to make it?
No, I won't know until
super interested
like
in this
Wednesday.
Cookie.
I'll let you know. I'll have a picture of it and everything.
Look,
Wednesday.
the biggest downfall about Crave Cookies, and probably the biggest boon, is that they don't have a fryer. If they had a fryer, Trent's recipes would be completely different. He would be off the rails.
Yeah. Just like a general full kitchen, the things we could do with like a stove top.
Yeah.
You can't make candy if you can't boil, sugar. So that's the way we could make a lot of crazy candies. We've also got The S'moreo. This is a big news for a lot of people. I freak over this. I'm going to be making some weird S'moreo. I already kind of spoiled this for Trent, but I'm going to go buy. This has little little marshmallows in the middle of it, and then it has a graham cracker dough, and then it has a piece of Hershey's chocolate on top. Tastes exactly like a s'more. But I was thinking, what if you just took one big marshmallow? You know, they have those big ones, right? Not like the normal size marshmallows.
Like the big ones?
Those big ones they have. It's like big marshmallow on the bag. I'm going to plop one of those. I'm going to bring a bag from home. That's what I'm doing. Just going to plop one of those in the middle of it and see what that does. And then I'm going to wrap the dough around it and do a marshmallow stuffed cookie. Same marshmallow. Just see what happens.
It could work. I tried. Yeah, are you talking about those like square-shaped s'more ones?
No, dude. I'm talking big marshmallows. Let's see.
Have you tried the square-shaped s'more marshmallows?
Yeah, it's
like the worst. They don't work. It's too much marshmallow.
Jumbo extra large puffed marshmallows.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're overcompensating now.
Yeah, dude. Because my marshmallow is not big enough. So
I don't, dude. I only go jumbo XL. You know this.
Jumbo XL. Let's see how big these things look.
Everything's jumbo XL.
Yeah, I mean these ones say campfire. That's not what I'm looking for. Extra large marshmallows. There's not like really good pictures of this product.
It just looks like a regular marshmallow, just big. And you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just regular marshmallow. It just looks like a marshmallow.
It's just a huge fucking marshmallow.
Okay. I believe you.
That's sitting on top of the cookie. I think it'll look ridiculous.
Oh, you know what? I was like, this sounds crazy, and then I realized JD loves marshmallows.
It's my favorite food.
Yes, I forgot. I was trying to put this together. It makes sense now. Got it.
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was also pitching Trent on putting marshmallow cream in the dough.
Yeah, of course you were. You love marshmallow cream.
What can I say? It's the best food that mankind ever created. If the S'moreo doesn't do it for you, he's also got the Snickety Split, which I'm pretty sure has Snickers in it because we just got a bunch of crushed up Snickers, like bags full of crushed up Snickers. And then finally, the coconut cream pie is the cold cookie.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh, very good one. So yeah, get on down to Crave Cookies. Go to cravecookies.com. Get the app. Go to Crave Cookies in West Valley, and you might get a weird ass marshmallow creation. I'll hook it up. I mean it.
You want that with regular marshmallow or giant marshmallow?
I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You guys come down to the store. Yeah, you have marshmallow options. I'll hook it up with a jumbo. Go to Crave Cookies and get your marshmallow on. IGN Entertainment has acquired Eurogamer, GI, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, and half a dozen more, which will surely not lead to any layoffs or closures. This is going to be good. Acquisitions, mergers, generally just good for everyone.
We've only heard of good outcomes in the last couple of years from these, so I'm optimistic.
This is coming from the Gamer Network, which is a family of digital brands that IGN picked up for an undisclosed sum. It's GameIndustry.biz, which is a source we use quite a bit on this podcast.
They're actually great.
And Eurogamer's 6 local language editions: Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, Dicebreaker, and I guess the Gamer Network also holds shares in Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, Hookshot, which operates Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, Times. So there's like a pretty big chunk of the enthusiast press here. IGN is just buying, and they've already started laying people off. People on Twitter, like a managing editor at one of these places, was like, "Yep, I got laid off." I guess I just don't understand business. I don't
either. I thought I did a little bit.
Me too. But the idea of just like, oh, let's buy that company and then fire half their staff really is hard for me to wrap my head around. Because they're like, well, we've calculated that if we fire half that staff and then like combine our staffs, because those are redundant. That's the idea. These are redundancies. But like, why don't you just make your own thing?
The hard part for me is like with these redundancies, because sometimes I get it, but like, was that person doing a full-time job before? Like what you acquired, like what are you going to do differently? I feel like a lot of times they're just like, oh, we already got like a We already got a guy doing this over here on this side of it. And like, are you going to double that guy's job now?
You're going to pay him more?
No, absolutely not.
So it's just crazy to me. So you're going to stress out your current workers, and then you're going to bring on a whole swath of more stressed out workers because you just fired half of their former coworkers. And this is like the stress business you want to run for the next quarter because it'll make you and your buddies a little bit richer. And then you're just out. You just don't fucking care. You go to the next business to do the same like toxic cancer-like behavior. I don't like it. I don't see what this does other than bad things. I'm sure I didn't see. I mean, I should have seen it coming. I guess I just didn't expect we'd be including game journalists in the layoff section, but we're going to be probably within the next week or two reporting on all these layoffs.
We are going to be reporting on layoffs from the guys who typically report on the layoffs.
And those guys are going to be hitting us up with emails like, hey, you guys have any job openings? We're going to be like, oh, brother.
You can come on if you want.
We can hire some interns.
Hey, have you ever worked at a cookie shop before? We could get you a job at
Cookie shop actually pays, man. So maybe you just go make cookies.
Go make cookies. I promise you will love it.
As someone who's made the transition from tech to cookies, it totally works. Very natural.
It's actually a good fit. The skill overlap is pretty interesting. So
yeah, it's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Despite great reviews from fans and critics, by launching on Game Pass, Senua's Saga Hellblades 2 Steam user base numbers only in the thousands. So this game, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, I know it's kind of a mouthful. Actually, is that a blurst?
Senua's Saga is like, I think it's pretty popular. I don't know. I think that's her
anyway.
name.
So these guys launch day one on Game Pass, which is like a great thing. We're led to believe, the conventional wisdom tells us that's a great thing. Well, when you look at the concurrent users on Steam, the peak for this game is still under 4,000. It's like 3,900 something. And so this article that brought this up compares the numbers to Hi-Fi Rush, which also came out on Game Pass, and it hit 6,100. And then Redfall, that game that was so bad it doesn't exist anymore, still had 6,124 active users. So like, but those are still terrible fucking numbers.
Yeah, not good.
This idea, and that's what I would imagine every developer actually wants. People playing it on Game Pass is great, but it does nothing for them. It really doesn't. I think we both initially played Undermine on Game Pass.
Yeah, I was playing it on my Xbox, which I never did.
And that's great. And guess what? It led to 2 sales, maybe more, because I think I bought it on a bunch of other platforms. I think I have it on Switch too. And that's, I guess, the goal. But in instances like this, you can kind of see that translation isn't necessarily happening.
Yeah,
but that is a really, I mean, you're 2/3 of what Redfall got on Steam. Even though everyone's like, this game's great, go play it. Everyone that's actually playing it, if they are just doing Game Pass, which is like you play. And I don't know, is this one what kind of game is this? Is this a single player game?
Yes, it's a single player.
So you play like these games like once.
Yeah. And
so you play it once through on Game Pass and you're done with it. You're not going to go buy it again on Steam. Unlike Undertale, which was a game you come back to as a roguelike, it's like a game you're going to play a lot. When you launch a single player game on Game Pass, it's like one and done. You just go play it there and you never
go at it again.
Dude,
I'd be interested to hear how the financials of this game shake up, because again, this is a very Senua's Sacrifice, the last one, super popular.
Yeah,
like extremely popular and got amazing reviews.
And people love this one too.
Yeah, people loving this one. So I'm interested to hear how that shakes out in the whole financial aspect of it, because this is the type of game that you want to do well. It looks like it's well done. I haven't heard negative things about it. And so, I mean, I'm not into the game. It seems, honestly, I almost dove into the first Senua game, but it seemed way too depressing for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're doing this action stuff, and there's also like this mental health situation happening at the same time. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do that. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see the financials of this because I want this game to be successful. Not because I love it, but because I know it's beloved.
Yeah, and it would be curious to see if Game Pass is killing these types of games. Like they get the one payment from Xbox for the one time, and that's like all they get for working on a game. That's brutal.
Honestly, I've never looked at like what the Game Pass financial situation even is for the developers. Like, are there like
they
there
don't
benefits?
They don't release it. Yeah, I think it's just they pay
like a
them a one-time thing. Yeah,
or
it's for a contract because like
there's got to be
some games
some
are on
types
there
of
for a
things, like
while.
if it gets in the first 6 months, if it gets X amount of downloads, then there's got to be little like bonus incentives. Like if we see a spike in numbers, like there's got to be other. It just seems like there'd be other stuff written into the contract for bigger games like this, right? I don't know how it works, but I feel like it should be.
In some cases, Microsoft will completely fund the production of the game. In this situation, the developer can make money from retail sales, and Microsoft will also allow these games to release on other platforms. Hey, this is what Phil Spencer said. Hey, we're willing to put this game. This is what they, say to these small developers. We're willing to put this game on Game Pass on our launch day if you guys will give us X dollars now. That's what they. And so they say, well, we'll create a floor for them in terms of success of their game. So yeah. So it's a one-time payment to be on Game Pass. And it sounds like I don't know.
And maybe Game Pass has figured out that developing games is expensive, and these guys need just a large lump sum of cash.
And
right, they're willing to do
for
that.
every game, and smaller games that they know aren't going to drive a ton of users or players to Game Pass. They aren't getting a great deal. So if it does that floor that they're looking for, like at least we're going to get X amount of dollars from Microsoft. If it's not only the floor but your ceiling at the same time,
interesting.
Squishy.
And like I could definitely see it in some situations. Like, what if you were like, JD is making a video game, and you're like, it's pretty good. Like, I'm proud of it, but like, I'm nobody. I'm never gonna get it out there. And Xbox comes in like, hey, JD, we're gonna give you $50,000.
Right.
You'd be like, all right, like, yeah, I'll just do it. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
But this is a game. Yeah, this is a different story. This is a sequel. This is a game
super
popular series, and it feels like Game Pass cut him off at the knees.
Yeah. So hopefully it turns around. I don't know.
Kirby's creator refused to add Dolby Surround to a Kirby game because it would make players sit through the logo. I appreciate and I see you. This is the Kirby creator and Smash Bros. Series director Masahiro Sakuri talking in a live stream over the weekend to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Arcade Archives series of retro games. So they tried to make an experience where you're like sitting in an arcade and you're just going to the next game. And what he pointed out is that when you're in the arcade, you're not going to sit down at a game and see a bunch of intro screens. You're going to sit down and play it.
Yeah.
He said, quote, rather than just tossing in a coin and getting into the game immediately, you must click an icon, wait for the logo, wait for the title, look at the instruction screen, wait for everything loads, and then you're finally on the main screen, after which you can start playing. And he apparently told the people working on this game, I want you to measure the total time this takes and shorten it by even 1 second.
This man understands. You don't want to just boot up the game and be like, here we go.
It's nice that he's thinking about these things. I feel like so many developers are just like, oh yeah, well, Dolby's going to come and knocking and we'll use their technology in our game and they're going to expect this big intro. And he's like, no, I don't care. It's Kirby, whatever. People get it. He just makes sucking noise, whatever. Fuck it. The sound's not that great.
This game is not about the sound.
He talks about in this same live stream. It talks about the GameCube racing game Kirby Air Ride, supposed to have Dolby surround audio. He chose to ditch it because it would have meant showing the Dolby logo at the start of the game. He says, quote, "I feel very sorry for making the user wait. If you take 1 second from each user, that means you'll be taking 10,000 seconds from 10,000 people. The more this repeats over the year, the more time you will cause players to lose."
I'm telling you,
This guy saw the Justin Timberlake film In Time and was like, for real, though, it is a currency. Gets it.
I love that you made a In Time reference.
Haven't even seen the film. Just familiar with the concept.
Oh my god.
Just like our boy Masahiro here. I'm concerned about everyone's time. That's why this podcast is a clean 90 minutes every week.
We're very concerned about your time.
It's 90 minutes for 9 listeners. We're always
for 9. Dude, that's why we haven't been pushing for new listeners for a while, because like we don't
want to waste any more
those
people.
Numbers add up.
When we get down to hell and we have to account for how much people's time we wasted over our lives, like we don't want to be there all day.
They'd be like, actually, you guys did a pretty good job. Like you didn't waste that many people's time.
You could have recruited more listeners and really fucked up your sentence here. Off to the pitchfork room.
I'm glad Podcoin's gone.
It was making the podcast too popular. Like, oh, it's too much stress, too much pressure. We almost had like 12 listeners at one point. Fans of Stellar Blade are mad about censorship and making sexy outfits not sexy enough.
Oh,
sexy. Dude, Peterson put this story on the doc, and I started digging into it, and I almost moved it to riblets. When I started reading it, I was like, this is a riblet. And then I just started digging into it, and I was like, this is the meatiest story we have.
This is the meatiest
maybe
story
in the last 2 weeks. It's crazy. This is Stellar Blade, which it just came out like earlier this month. It's an action game set on Earth that's all fucked up by monsters. It's got this weird, almost like lazy copy of certain aspects of the Matrix in the story, from what I can understand. Like the last human city's called Zion, but it's with an X.
Oh,
and you have to go find like a smart character to help you save the day, and her name is the Oracle, not Oracle, the Oracle.
Oracle, like Steve Oracle.
So like they watched the Matrix and then like a couple like 10, 20 years ago and forgot that that's where they're getting all this information from. They're like, this is a really good idea.
You guys got this idea. I don't know where it came from.
The last human city.
Oracle.
We'll call it like Zion, you know, like the biblical Zion.
Yeah, like from the Bible.
You get it.
Like, yeah, no,
Brilliant.
I totally get this.
Anyway, Stellar Blade is, I guess, a pretty good game. It looks like people like it.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to distinguish who likes the game because it's a good game and who's a degenerate pervert.
All the above. You know what I mean? Like and
I guess, yeah, maybe it's just one and the same. The Venn diagram of those two is just a big circle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But people are pissed because this game just so happens to feature sexy women doing sexy booby stuff with their sexy sex and boobs and butts.
It's just the classic. They fight in their micro bikini.
Tight. Yeah, micro bikini or skin that is just like up. It's like their suit is so tight against their skin. It's like up in their orifices.
Yeah, no, like some of these swimsuit looking outfits too, like you can almost see labia. You know what I mean? Like you're right there.
Yep. So. And then the camera in the game. This isn't like in old games where you'd like try to run behind a character and climb up a ladder behind them to see if you could see up their skirt. This one just like there's very in-depth, detailed camera.
That's where the camera is.
And
that's
shots
where the camera lives.
Right up on the cooter. Just right up in between your character's legs. And you know, the gamers like this. They do. They like that they can play a video game. That's their two favorite hobbies.
Finally.
Squished together. Porn and video games in one.
Honestly, it saves a ton of time.
They're rolling a 19 every day of the week. All 9 of you get that joke. You guys get it. So apparently where this starts is, as these things always do, is apparently this developer promised this game would be uncensored in all regions. First of all, it's a weird promise to feel like you need to make, but I'm not really super big tapped into the pervert gamer community. Seems like a big prerequisite for sexy games that you need to say this will be uncensored in all regions. Then people, get a rock hard boner that they use to click buy on Steam and they pre-order it.
Obviously, yeah.
In this case, it wasn't true. They censored it. Big censors. I mean, those micro bikinis became macro. I'm just kidding. I don't know, whatever censorship they did, in some cases made the characters sexier. Like one of the things is they made so she's in underwear, but she has like a teddy on, which is like a sheer garment that
it's definitely
her
sheer.
waist.
Yeah.
And so what the censor did is that they made this garment slightly less sheer, slightly more opaque, but then they reduced the size of her panties to the point, and they jacked up the waistline so you couldn't really see it. So it looks like almost like she's not wearing any underpants. And because the skirt is now more obscured, your brain just automatically is like, oh, I'm looking at her pussy. Great.
That's it. I'm not sure.
But not these guys. For me, I was like, oh, nice, it got nakeder. But these guys are like clicking and zooming in and like turning up the brightness in like Photoshop to make sure
they're checking.
They are Dudley Dursleying the naked women in their video games. But on the last iteration, I had 37 nipples in my game, and now I can only see 36 in an areola. So,
dude, that's exactly what it is.
So they're getting so nitpicky with this game that is literally like showing you the insides of the characters' assholes. And they're like
they have. I'm looking at screenshots where the chick straight up has camel toe, and the camera is up there. It's not like, oh wait, if I like JD
the camera is causing the camel toe as it is pushing into her pelvis. Like this, the people that are mad about this are unbelievable. This is my favorite one though. Former Blizzard developer Mark Kern. So this guy worked at Blizzard. So this is why Blizzard was gross for so long. These are the kind of guys. And once they get like the tree was shaken and these like weirdos fell out of it with their binoculars, they're like, ow, and they scattered. This is where this fucker scattered to. He posts a change.org petition calling for altered content from a previous version to be restored by the developer. This is a quote from the change.org petition. The content has been censored from the original trailer version posted by Sony. Sorry, I have to change my voice for this next part. We, as gamers, want this content back. We relied on it. We made the game the #1 pre-order worldwide because of it. And this is the true game we want.
There are no sex games. It's just Stellar Blade.
Just Stellar. Yeah, there's no other way other places we can find. Can you find that oppressed gamers clip for me, please? Because when you write something like, we as gamers want this content back, I don't know what to do with that. So this petition already has 91,000 signatures. 91,000 of these people who I would hope and pray the FBI is just automatically scraping all their names and adding it to a watch list.
Just like click, add.
Click, add. Oh yeah, this one for sure. Ass boner 420X. Yep, that guy's on the list. This is another quote from our boy Mark Kern. Mark Kern, who I probably should say is our shitbird of the week, but I don't know. He's just like such a fucking self-parody. It's hard to lump him in with real, true shitbirds. Here's what he says, quote, "It's not about inches of fabric. It's about fighting the double standard and getting Stellar Blade customers what was advertised."
Mm-hmm. Don't try to put one hoodwink us, okay?
Dude, I want to see the little stubble on her bikini line or we riot. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I can't. Like, I'm looking at clips of the game.
It's indistinguishable, right? Some of these Twitter posts that are like just like circling parts of the game. Like, here's this one. I'll drop this in the chat for everyone. Oh, I guess it won't post, so I'm just gonna send it to you, Peterson. But
Okay.
they've got like they're like going through and like circling individual like tiny details, and it's always they're circling boobs, just like a bunch of red circles on boobs and like lines that are like these boobs are different than those boobs, and these are the boobs that I was promised. This is an action game, you guys. This isn't like I don't even know what kind of game you would expect to be able to like take long moments to observe your character's ass.
I feel like these guys are like pausing the game regularly.
Yes.
Just be like, yeah.
And again, there's an activity for that. It's called pornography. You can do that. That's fine. But they're two separate things. And you need to understand not everything in life is required to be porn. This change.org petition, though, honest to God, it's just fantastic. It is such a source of the whiny, entitled gamers we like to parody on this podcast so often. But I guess you can, on change.org, leave not comments, they're called reasons. Like, why did you sign? What's the reason for signing this petition? And apparently you can leave video reasons, which may prove like to be a really big dumb mistake. But we pulled up Peterson. Someone pulled some of these, scraped some of these off of and put these on Twitter. And we're just going to play a couple of them for you because they are exactly what you expect.
Okay, here we go.
This petition is not only to free Stellar Blade, but to send a clear message to Sony, Nintendo, and the rest of the publishers in the gaming industry that we players will not tolerate any form of censorship moving forward. Thank you.
This guy has a shirt on that says, I paused my game. And
Yep.
I believe it. I genuinely believe that he pauses this game.
Amazing.
Okay, here's number 2. Ready?
I'm really disappointed
I bet
because
you are.
as a grown man, I really expected to have at least some type of responsibility to look after myself and do what I want in the comforts of my own home. Yeah, that's it. This
guy describes playing a pornographic video game as looking after himself, and he's a grown man. He should be able to do that.
I do what I want in my own home. Why you gotta pull away?
How dare you put a dickie over her gigantic, like jumbo watermelon tits? What were you thinking? I'm a grown man.
Okay, here we go. This one, I like this one.
Hey Sony, I want you to take off the censor off the games, Stellar Blade, because I'm looking forward to play this game as well. Because my game won't be here until Wednesday from the mail, and I want things to change and what's going on around the world and stuff. And sign a petition, all right, and stuff. All right, bye.
This guy has no idea what he's talking about.
This guy got political with it. Honestly, he really brought it back down to like all the other problems in the world. Stellar Blade is an emblem of all of those things.
This guy genuinely has no idea what's going on. He knows that he wants to play this game, and he knows he's excited for.
He knows he's supposed to be mad
and labia
because of boobs and
he's
labia.
Like, why can't? I guess we can't see it as good. I'm like, I'm gonna record this video. I'm not even gonna edit it. I'm just gonna record myself mumbling through the first 10 seconds of it. Oh, that guy's my favorite. Okay, here we go. This guy's good too.
Hello, my name is Jeremy, and I am signing the Stellar Blade petition because I, too, am tired of how Sony is constantly censoring games left and right, back and forth, for absolutely no reason whatsoever to fit some stupid, worthless, pointless agenda. Stellar Blade is definitely a breath of fresh air, and it needs to stay that way. Thank you.
A breath of fresh air? Brother, it's just tits. It's just tits and ass. There's nothing fresh
Hello,
about
my name is Jeremy.
it. He's like, no, this is like a confessional. Also, there's a handful of comments that are so funny. Here's a couple of them. This game was the only bright spot in a sea of mannish female protagonists. Please don't steal beauty from us. Taking an author's intention and destroying said vision is not okay and never will be in my book.
It's never
You
gonna be okay.
destroyed their
Tony.
vision of her camel toe. I want that moose knuckle. I want it right in my face.
Let me be clear. The camel toe has not left the game. Her little loincloth that hangs down is less sheer than it was before. But as
How
a
dare they?
concession, her underwear is almost non-existent.
Yeah, it
I
goes
can't understand.
it's like a micro bikini.
Like, and have you watched the gameplay of this? She is not like moving slowly. She is like whipping around, going real fast.
Every move. Yeah. So that's what I was saying is like, how are you seeing these differences that you have to zoom in on like screenshots and like highlight things with a red marker so people can understand your rage? The artist's vision.
There's easier ways to get there.
I would say this is a weird thing to censor because of that very reason. How can anyone tell? But I guess if these Dorcases can tell, then the Puritans can tell. So let's just take it out of the game. Another couple funny reviews because these are so funny. I'm sick of these SJWs actively trying to ruin everything fans love.
Yep.
They're grifting parasites who went after Sony because they couldn't get shift up to comply with their demands, pretending to be offended over problems they themselves created. If this is one of the ways I can help fight back, then so be it. ...
I will.
He's fighting back. This is
you know what I really want them to add to this game? Just a quick cut scene of two dudes making out. They would lose it.
People would be very upset at Stellar Blade going woke. Gaming should be creative and allow freedoms, not apply real world restriction because of woke activists.
Yep.
Characters should be great, not dumbed down and made to look awful because of the alphabet communities. Give gamers choices and freedom. What is that last part? You were taking away my freedom to see that camel toe. And this is what oppression is.
I don't understand. Like,
this is what people were going through in the civil rights era. I feel like I'm there as a gamer.
Dude, this is oppression. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, for real.
I know now. I know now.
No, this is what like you got to do a sit-in for. Something like this. This is the only honest review on the change.org petition. The only honest reason given. Eve deserves to show off her hot stuff. Give me cleavage or give me death. # free Stellar Blade. That guy.
Yep.
I respect that guy.
That's the only one.
That's what quit trying to make this political. Quit trying to make this anything other than what it is about. The blood rushing to your loins is all this is. And you need to admit that.
Well, my favorite part is they kept mentioning like this is some like SJW agenda, and I'm like, do they think there was like some people out front with like the signs doing like a full on
like a protest,
like did they like what did they think was happening here?
Yep.
Sony probably just looked at it and they're like, gosh, like we are 1 centimeter from just like looking into a vagina, and they're like, you probably should just add a little. It's like
this tweet we keep referencing, this picture of her loincloth that becomes slightly more opaque. It's also, I guess we've kind of buried the lead here because the tweet that comes with this that's pointing out the two differences here is not being ironic. He's not saying, wow, there's like very little difference, or oh my gosh, she's almost naked now. He says they only did 50% of the job. And I would have been fine with that, but they censored another outfit that was unchanged to this date. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Why do this? Nobody was asking for it. Of course, there's going to still be people complaining. They have every right to.
Absolutely.
This guy is incensed, absolutely enraged
He's
about this that is like really hard to see the difference. And then finally, Mark Curran, this comes back around because I guess this is the story we didn't report on. And then this was like last week. And the news that we found this in is that they've won the change.org petition. Now gamers have freedom and choice. And if they want to see inside the bunghole, they can do that. They brought the bunghole camera back. And you can just play the whole game
Kulo
from the
cam.
inside of your
Kulo
character.
cam.
There's first-person shooters, third-person shooters, and then Gucci person shooters.
Like, how does that work? And you're like, okay, so you know what a butthole looks like, right? That's like okay, like the whole like I'm talking like 87% of the screen is a butthole.
You know the intro of a James Bond movie? Picture that for the whole game. You don't see much pussy, but you know you're in one.
No, you're in and if that's what counts. Every now and then, if you turn the camera just right, you can see outside a little bit into the game, and that's
Just
when
a
it's
little
really
buzz
hot.
on the top of your camera. So that's what they got. They gave them the pussy cam and Stellar Blade, and they're still so fucking mad about it. They got everything they wanted, and it wasn't enough.
Free
It
the
will
nip.
never be enough until
Give
the
me
character
nipple cam.
is completely naked, and you can pause the game at any time and just like fuck her right there and then. That's the only game they want to play. I don't know, you guys. This is Blursty. This is a for sure Blursty.
Oh, I can't. It's so great.
You can't you can't Google Stellar Blade without seeing this stuff. Like, it is the game. It's like Bayonetta kind of a game.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. That's
but,
what it is.
Just let it be what it is, man.
Oh, this is so good. I needed that laugh.
Riblets are little meat chunks of news wrapped around a bone, served to you in some little white and red checkered paper basket. It's just not enough. It's not enough for a rack of ribs. It's not enough of a story. They're just little
it's
short
an appetizer.
bites.
It's an appetizer. We're not trying to fill up on them, okay?
No, just little guys. First up here, Kingdom Hearts is coming to Steam. That's it. That's the whole riblet. It's like one of those where you're like, why did you even serve me this? There's no meat on it. You just served me a naked bone. That's it. It's just Kingdom Hearts on Steam. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.2. I'm sorry, 1.5 plus 2.5 remix, HD 2.8 final chapter prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind DLC. All of those are coming out on June 13th on Steam. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of PC gamers that are freaking losing their shit over this.
Yeah.
This also opens the possibility of Steam sales.
I've never played Kingdom Hearts. I probably won't, but I could.
Now you could.
I could, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, next up, Larian Studios is opening a new office in Warsaw. I feel like maybe we should have a new segment where we announce studio openings. We make like a huge deal out of it because this is the first one we've had in God knows how. Oh, no, we had one the other week. Because Activision opened that new studio.
Yeah, weren't they in Poland too?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one in Poland? Like
Poland's so hot. Yeah. CD Projekt Red laid off a bunch of people, and so now they're just like floating around the city.
It's like, oh, we can pick up those people for what do they pay in Poland? Not a lot.
Not as much as they pay here. No, sirree. Yeah, so Larian Studios, you guys remember these are the dudes behind Baldur's Gate 3 and Divinity. They just crushed it on Baldur's Gate 3, and when they're like is it Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, or whatever, was like, will you make Baldur's Gate 4 through 60? They're like, no, fuck off.
They don't want to.
We're gonna go do our own thing. Like, make a new studio. And I guess they're gonna have two ambitious RPGs at the same time. And these guys are gonna. So what I was reading, and I don't know how factual this is, because it was just like speculation on Reddit, is that Larian has some sort of cadence because with where their studios are placed around the globe that they can do 24/7 development, and people are just handing off to the next time zone's team at the end of the day.
I haven't even thought of that business strategy. See, I don't know anything about business.
We're idiots. We're idiots.
About it.
That's what we get for getting MBAs. We know less about business than when we started.
Shouldn't have done that.
And those are the guys that are running the business world, which is perfect. So, yeah, this is. I'm just happy. I'm just happy. This is the 7th studio. I guess Larian Studios has 7 studios. I think everyone just assumed they had the one. But
I'm in that party. I did assume they just had one.
No, they have 7 studios working on 2 games. Larian is bigger than you guys probably thought. Next, Ubisoft's COD-like shooter X Defiant is unplayable for many on launch day. Also didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
I may be wrong here, but this is a shooter game that does it feature characters from other Ubisoft games? Because I saw one of the factions was Cleaners, which is from The Division.
It is? What is this game? Why don't I know anything about this?
And you can't go to Steam to see the reviews because it's on Uplay, and no one has fucking Uplay.
That's why.
No reviews. There's no feedback. There's no nothing. It looks like I watched the trailer for it. It looks like it's trying to rip off Call of Duty, but it honestly is so frenetic and so fast paced. It's worse than I remember Call of Duty ever being. The trailer makes it look very unappealing if you're not like a 10-year-old boy with undiagnosed and untreated ADHD. That seems to be the exclusive audience for this game.
As it is for.
Are you watching the trailer? Like, dude, it does not look fun. Like, it looks like it could be fun if you slowed it down by like 50%, but it looks crazy.
Yes, it does. And yeah, you're right. There's like Libertad, which is from Far Cry.
Yeah. So
Cleaners.
It's like,
I don't know what these other ones are very much.
So they've got factions that they brought in, like Brawl Stars, I guess.
Now I kind of want to play this just
or
to
Heroes
like,
of the Storm
kind of
did. I don't know, but
this is.
We got to report on these because we always got a potential for Blur's launch. Blur sees we got to track it. And this came out during a preseason event. So it's before season 1 is launched for the game. Nobody could get in. And I think it's one of these things where they kind of expect it because I think it was the game director was like joking about it on Twitter. He's like, sorry. It's like a good problem to have, I guess. Your game's so popular, it's crashing.
I guess.
It's a fine line, though, to dance between losing those people forever because they're like, well, this game's janky, and it being more like a chivalry situation where people are willing to sift through the shit because the game's so good.
Yeah, because it's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like it adds nothing to the genre.
Yep. That's what it felt like to me. Like I saw a character running and throwing a drone out ahead of them and all these things. I was like, dude, nothing in this is unique from Call of Duty.
No. Like if you told me this was the new Call of Duty, I'd be like, yeah, that's what it looks like.
This looks about right. I don't know what the game plan is with this one. X Defiant, check it out. I don't think is it new? Is it free?
Yeah, it's free to play.
Oh, well then I guess you could
get in there and try to queue into a game, everybody.
X Defiant. Last thing here, Nintendo has acquired Shiver, the studio, to bring more outside games to consoles. This is awesome for anyone that has a Nintendo Switch and that's their only console. Because these guys, it's Shiver Entertainment, they're based in Miami, which talk about not cheap developers. How much does a fucking developer cost in Miami?
Yeah.
Damn, but it must have been appealing to Nintendo. They got these guys Shock, Lock, and Barrel. They're going to be bringing more games from outside developers to the next gen Switch platform. That's their goal. So they've already done this. This is their pedigree, and I feel like I don't need to say anything more. These are the guys that ported Mortal Kombat 1 and Hogwarts Legacy to the Switch.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
They can do
what
it.
more do we need to say? Because you guys saw no news on Hogwarts Legacy. Like, it didn't play well on the Switch, or it was janky. It just came out like 8 months after the main release, and it was the same game, which is incredible work to port this, and it's not their game.
Well, yeah, it's incredible too because this game was frying my GPU on my
Yes.
computer, and
And
now
they
it's
got
on the
this to
Switch.
run on a fucking Switch.
Yep.
And so Nintendo rightfully, understandably, just grabs them.
Saw the
like,
value there.
Yep. Switch 2 games. And what this is for me is a signal that every game that you weren't able to play on the Switch from the PS5 and series era on down, all the Nintendo wants as many of
It's gonna
those
get
games
there.
as possible
Yeah.
on this next one.
Either that, or Nintendo hasn't really been on the like whole layoff cycle, so they needed to pick somebody up so they could shut them down. On their time in the sun.
They're like, who can we rug pull and
These guys
fool
did
those
their-
idiots
they did
on the
their
3-bit
thing for us. Let's get
gamer
'em
show
out of
into
there.
thinking that this is a good idea. Because that's what we always think is like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is a good get. Now, how is this going to turn on us?
This is how it starts. One good get turns into Nintendo. Apparently, they turn into monsters that just just swallow other studios. That's what they have. You buy one, you're like, that was great.
Like,
Now I'm
get
gonna
that
get
first
every
taste,
studio I can get, and then
you
you're
get
like,
hooked on
oh,
buying
I'm so
studios.
full, I gotta throw up now, and they just start vomiting studios out.
No, I mean, this is crazy because Nintendo is, I feel like, historically and maybe just always been much more interested in their own products, their own games.
Yeah.
And pushing those, and that's been a huge part of their marketing, and outside games or indie games on their platform. They're like, it's cool, but if we don't own those studios, we're not that interested. This is for me just a big signal that they're like, yeah, no, we want to be not necessarily in parity with the other consoles, but we want to be in the same arena. We want you to have access to similar games, and maybe not necessarily be quite so distinguished in the marketplace with our games. And I mean, as a person who would probably still, I don't know about you, but I would still put the Switch was the PS4 era, right?
Yeah.
Well, I still play my Switch just as much as my PS5. So I really think this, and in terms of sales, absolutely kicked the shit out of Xbox and PlayStation.
Everybody, yeah.
So if they're going to make, this is a console that everyone has, and it's more accessible, and more people have these in their homes. If you're telling me these guys are bringing us more mainstream games, I think that's good for everyone. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh no. Kudos. Positivity segment. Saying something we like about something we like. Peterson, what do you got?
I don't want to do mine. You're gonna make fun of me.
I am gonna make fun of you. Do you want me to make fun of you first and then you can do it? Peterson found something from a month ago and he's super hyped about it. So let's hear what he found out.
Listen, the hype cycle doesn't hit me, okay? I'm like an
Not on
Eastern European country. I'm always behind.
Do you guys have any
On
extra
the
blue
hype.
jeans to sell?
Yeah,
American blue jeans.
dude. I'm always a month behind. I'm like, oh, dude, have you heard of Taylor Swift? She's crazy.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
Yeah,
That
like,
song.
I'm listening
was
to Taylor Swift, like her 3 albums ago. Be like, dude, this is hot right now.
good.
What's the Eras tour? No. So I just watched. It came across. Look, I don't actively look for things on the internet anymore. I just let it come to me, and finally, this came to me.
Yeah.
It was Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, I've known about this movie coming out. I didn't just find out about it right now, JD. But I saw the trailer.
Wolverine character.
The trailer. Who's Wolverine? I was been watching X-Men, and I was like, I'm interested. No, so I saw the trailer, Deadpool and Wolverine, for the first time. You guys have probably all seen it. Apparently, everyone's like, "Oh, way cooler than I am." It's amazing though. Like, I see trailers every now and then. I'm like, "Oh, that movie looks pretty good," and then I'm I don't even ever see the movie ever again. I don't see anything about it.
Mm.
This one, I really want to watch this movie. It looks great. I mean, it's got the Deadpool feel where it's like sarcastic and lots of swearing, and there's even a section where he's like talking about the producer for the movie or the director for the movie, and it looks so good. It just looks like what I want. You know what I mean? I was talking to JD about this the other day, and sometimes you just want a movie that knows what it is. Because I was watching Mad Max Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is just a car. It's like car chase from start to finish. Like, just it's insane and it's fast
So
paced.
good.
Doesn't slow down, right? Sometimes you just want a movie that just knows what it is, does what it does. They're not, they're not going for like cinematic masterpiece that's gonna live throughout the years as like it should be shown in film classes. Like they're just going for like, this movie's awesome and you're gonna freaking love it. And this movie looks like it's that. I want to see Deadpool and Wolverine just like stabbing each other and shooting each other and then just going ham together and just getting killed all the time. They
The
can't
fact
die.
that
I just wanna
Hugh
see all this.
Jackman came back for this when he was very clear about being done with the Wolverine character is so funny to me. And it tells me that Ryan Reynolds pitched him a really fucking good movie.
Hard. I think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be fun because I think you're gonna see them having fun. You've seen them like screw around together in like all sorts of things throughout the years. Like talk shows and stuff like that, teasing Wolverine and Deadpool. You've seen this, and so it's like happening, and I feel like it's gonna feel as fun as it is. I don't know how else to explain it, but I'm really excited for this. If you haven't seen the trailer,
Which
go and watch it because this looks. No, they haven't all seen it. It's brand new.
Go.
It just came out. JD's like, "Is this just the first trailer?" I'm like, "I think there's only one trailer."
Yeah, I
okay?
thought
There's
they'd
not, like,
released a new
a
trailer
new-
that was like really cool. Nope.
No, there's not. Okay,
Don't get
But-
don't get wrong.
look. There's someone listening right now who's like, "Oh man, I haven't seen the trailer for that." I'm so glad Peterson said this, and then they're gonna thank me. They're gonna thank me personally on the Discord.
I can't wait
They
to see
better.
that happen.
They better.
Yeah, no, you guys really, because I gave it to Peterson pretty hard. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna back him up. I have a quick kudos for a product that I don't have a brand recommendation, just the concept of this product. Jenna and I recently got into reusable Ziploc bags.
Is that even a thing? How does this? I've never heard of this.
They have changed our lives. They're exactly what they sound like. They're Ziploc bags. They're a little bit thicker and more sturdy plastic.
Yeah, they look sturdy.
And you can wash them out and you can throw them in the dishwasher. We just wash them out and just let them air dry, like upside down and open, and then they're good to go. But it just was starting to feel so wasteful. And Jenna takes lunch, takes like snacks to lunch at work and stuff. A couple Ziplocs full of snacks. And what do you just like throw the bag away? That's not really dirty. It just had some Cheez-Its in it. No, you take it home, you rinse it out, and you use it again. These things I use them for cooking a lot, marinades, or when we freeze leftover meat. They're better than Ziplocs because, like I said, they're sturdier, they're heavier. And so I feel like they keep meat better in the freezer. I think they're better freezer bags, straight up. They're basically like a soft Tupperware is how I would just.
They look like I looking at pictures of them and I feel like I know what they feel like.
Yep. It's a more durable and more flexible Tupperware. And I think there's a lot more use cases for a bag Tupperware than there is for Tupperware. And dude, I wouldn't say, it saved us tons of money, but we use them so much. We haven't used a Ziploc bag. We haven't bought Ziploc bags in months at this point. I think we've thrown away one.
I love this. I love this so much. And I'm looking at this for real.
You buy them on Amazon. You can get like a 50 pack for like $10.
ton of Ziploc bags, like constantly.
Mhm.
And like JD said, like I open some cheese or something and I like slice off some, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I'm done. And I'm like, man, it's like the cheese has been sitting in here. Like, I don't want to throw this bag away. Sometimes I reuse it if I can. Then I'm like, it's gonna start growing mold inside the bag.
Yep.
And like because I am the person who genuinely feels bad about
Yes.
single-use Ziploc
Single-use
bags. Like I use
plastics.
it one time and I'm like, that seems like such a waste.
Yeah.
I'm like saving them. Like, what else can I do with this bag? It's sitting on the counter for like 2 weeks.
Right.
Like, I hope I need a gallon Ziploc bag.
Yeah. Oh, especially the gallon bags, because they're bigger and heavier duty, and you use them once for something, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll toss
I'm
it.
just gonna throw this away now.
No, check them out. I
I
think
like this.
I would do some shopping around. We did some shopping around. I can't remember what brand we went with.
Oh,
One
yeah, I
brand
will
is
for
better
sure.
than the other. We got 2 different kinds, and one's just better. But they're both better than a Ziploc. They are. So I was like Peterson. I didn't really know this product existed really. And then I meant to get some for like a month or 2. And then I finally got around to it and was like, holy shit. I should have been using these for years.
I love this so much. Yeah,
You can write on them with
definitely
Ziplocs and then just wipe it off with rubbing alcohol. So like if you want to put dates on there, we do that for meat.
I'm in. I am in. You don't even need to sell it anymore. I'm already looking at them on Amazon. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the episode. I'm just gonna be shopping on Amazon.
Ziploc bags. Dude, I don't blame you.
You're gonna be doing the next segment. I'll be like, hold on. Hey, have you heard of this brand, JD? You know, back to the Ziploc bag thing.
Oh yeah, no.
Dude, that was like 25 minutes ago.
Get back around.
Is that why you're not talking?
If you guys have any recommendations for these things, make sure to drop them in our Discord, because I could probably use one more pack at this point, because we have so many of them that are like in use. Like Peterson said, like we have some cheese, the bacon, slices of cheese, and then meat in our freezer, all sorts of shit.
Yeah, bacon. Like I don't use the whole pack a lot of the time. I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I got to throw it away after that. I love
after the second use, because you're not gonna really access that many times.
Yep.
So yeah, and they're so easy to rinse out, or like I said, most of them are dishwasher safe. So you just put them on the little rack thing, boop 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 boop, pull them out, they're ready to go.
I'm in. All right.
Ziploc bags, reusable Ziplocs. Get some, save the earth. Probably, I don't know. It's more plastic. Who gives a shit?
Dear Game Devs, it's been nearly a fortnight since I last wrote. Mother is well, and much has changed back on the farm, but I have just one request of you.
Dear Game Devs, where we like to send notes into the ether for the many game developers that listen to and are influenced by this podcast to just snatch out of the air and apply to our games, which happens more often than you might think.
If you have been listening to this podcast, you know that we put ideas out into the ether, and
it's like a 30% success rate out there.
I bet it's more than that. It's like,
it's weird.
The ideas that we really latch onto, that we really like, they happen. And these are like, we're doing this pre-announcement. Like, you haven't heard of this announcement. We do it, and sometimes it's like a week later, the announcement comes out. I'm telling you, there's something to this, JD. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're on to something.
Yeah.
And we're on fire. And so we figured we'd keep it rolling. And Peterson, was there anything that particularly brought this one up?
Yeah, it was the Deadpool Wolverine thing.
Gotcha.
And one other thing I remembered why I was thinking this segment, because of the Dave the Diver and Godzilla.
Right.
Yes. So we were like, what's some other like wacky mashups that you could see in games? You can mash up anything you want.
Your
just
game
mash
devs
them in there.
Do these game mashups. That's the plea. If we see even one of these once more, we will know that they are listening.
The only caveat is you're not allowed to do Fortnite ever, because they're already mashing everything.
No, it's just a cheat.
Just everything. Yeah, everything's in there. Billie Eilish was just in Fortnite. Like, it literally
I can't
anything.
get over it that they're teaching teenagers to shoot Billie Eilish. I don't like the implication. I don't like it.
Shoot Billie Eilish with a Fallout character.
Or use the rock to beat her to death with a pipe. I don't know. It's just feels weird. All right. Peterson, do you have one to start, or you want me to start?
I'll start with one that we have that this is brand new. It's fresh in our minds because it's a Planet Crafter one. Because look, Planet Crafter game is amazing.
What is it?
Game is amazing. Here's what we have not said yet
Hmm.
about Planet Crafter. We finished it, and the ending is
Lacking. Let's say lacking. That's
yeah,
nice.
like the game is so positive, and you're like, man, these people get it. Like this game's so fun and positive, and then the endings are all bleak, and there's not really anything to it. It's like 3 sentences, and it's like over,
Yeah,
and there's three
very
endings.
sad sentences that make you wonder why you did any of the game. I mean, I'm glad the production value is so low, because if it was like a whole big drawn out version of those 3 sentences, it might actually leave a bad taste in our mouths.
Yeah, we
But
were
it
just
was like taking
whatever.
a pill. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's gone. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to necessarily add to the ending, but what I would love,
Mm.
dude, they
Mm.
just add some DLC Godzilla style. You know how Godzilla's in this one?
You're putting Godzilla in Planet
No.
Crafter?
He just
why
comes swimming
not?
over.
Oh, you just
Okay.
make him one of the creatures you make. You add
Dude,
to the flora
you
of the world.
accidentally make a gigantic
A big
Godzilla.
Godzilla comes out of the ocean and stomps all your shit.
Just like all this stuff you've been crafting this whole time.
Yeah.
Like just gone.
Just crashes through all
You
of
just
it.
gotta like hide in a cave.
Mhm.
No, Star Trek. This is perfect. Dude, Star
Okay.
Trek mashes in there. Okay, you know the whole planet seeding
Mhm.
situation in Star Trek. All the races, all the different species of aliens kind of look humanoid because some ancient alien civilization seeded the galaxy.
Get me started about Ancient Aliens.
Dude, that's JD
I
is.
just went to Ancient Aliens live.
He did. He is hot on Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, I
Street
got a
Fighter.
lot of stuff to talk about, you guys.
So yeah, dude, Star Trek, you added in there somehow. Somehow we are involved with seeding these planets. So like we're going through and doing this is like pre. Or you could just go back and like you look up and you're like, wait, what the freak was this? Is Starship up there? You see Starship Enterprise, and they're like all of a sudden they could do like a whole little event. They're just there. They're gonna come visit you. But I want Star Trek to be mashed into here because Star Trek's all about like discovery, and you've got a brand new planet, and then come in and but yeah, I like the planets, the seeding aspect of it. They're like you're real. This is how they seeded the planets with humanoids. They were using prisoners to just like, here you go, you're on this planet now.
Now make
So
some
that's what I
alien
want to do.
babies. Okay.
Make some babies.
Well, it kind of sounds like you'd kind of want one of the games that's from my next mashup, which would be No Man's Sky. Sounds like you want No Man's Sky meets Planet Crafter.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
But what I want is No Man's Sky meets Pokemon.
Dude, I don't know why this doesn't exist in No Man's Sky already.
There's all the different creatures. They're randomly generated.
Spend 1,000,000 more hours in No Man's Sky if
they had
you
Pokeballs,
were capturing and selling creatures, because there's like a whole economy system in No Man's Sky.
Yes.
Dude, if you could have a creature economy system.
And you could do creature battles. So you land on this planet and it's overrun with aggressive creatures, and you throw down your super dragon you've been training and it just defends you or whatever. You have mounts you can ride around the planets on, and you have certain ones because you would be able to catch creatures that wouldn't exist in anyone else's games because of the procedural generation that creates the creatures. So you could just be catching, in essence, the most rare creature. Every single one would be a creature no one had ever seen before. It's brilliant.
And like, yeah, and like you could use them to, in like this big piece of it is like fighting those robots. Whatever
use
those
your Pokemon
are.
to take on the
just
Sentinels.
chuck those in there and start. Yeah, the Sentinels. Start fighting Sentinels with the Pokemon.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Would it be actual Pokemon, or would it be Pokemon like mechanics?
Like Pal World?
Yeah,
I think you'd have to do it more like Pal World. I mean, I was trying to think of like what I would do, because I was like, my first thought was like, I want to see Pokemon with Valheim, but I was like, isn't that just Pal World? And I was like, I guess I want primitive Pal World without any of the new technologies. But then I came and I was like, well, what if we went the opposite direction?
What if you
hyper futuristic Pal World?
Pokemon in space,
which is Pokemon in space. So that's what I want. No Man's Sky meets
Is there a
Pokemon.
Pokemon in space? We need that. If there's not,
There
that
are
needs to
space
happen.
Pokemon, but
But like
come-
we're not like we're not doing
going
like
up there to catch them. No, they come.
we're
down
not
to
like
us.
doing sci-fi era Pokemon.
No, dude, not
space
and we
travel.
keep saying Pokemon, but like I'm talking a creature collector.
Yeah.
A
No, that's what-
space-based creature collection game I'm not aware of. And it makes itself because they're aliens. It makes more sense than creating like a convoluted reason why there's all these weird, because in the Pokemon universe, like things like mice and birds exist that are non-Pokemon things.
yeah.
So it just doesn't make sense. But for space and aliens, yeah. Do it up.
Dude, I like that. Okay. Okay, this is just a pretty easy one. I think it would be a lot of fun to do, and this is just like a map. This is like a extra DLC. This could even be a mod. But Frostpunk and Star Wars, but you're on Hoth.
Oh, baby.
Right? Just
Oh,
throw it on Hoth, but
baby.
like all the Frostpunk mechanics.
And you, instead of necessarily like storms, well, you could still have storms, but the events could be Empire coming in, attacks on the base. Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
I feel like it could be like a really cool DLC, just like a offshoot type of game where you're like, I just have this one types of missions. I think it'd be because I love Frostpunk and I like the world that they've created. But I feel like you can do a lot with it. I feel like you don't even have to you don't have to keep it on Earth. You can do all sorts of stuff with their
dude,
because they have
Frostpunk,
cool mechanics in there.
Yeah.
Let's do Frostpunk on Hoth. Let's do that.
I
think
like
it'd be
that a
lot of fun.
lot. Yep, I like that a lot. Okay, how about this one? Do you remember Halo Wars?
Yes.
Do you remember who made Halo Wars?
No.
Ensemble Studios. They were the guys that made
Okay.
Age of Empires. It's the
Yeah.
reason it was so good was because that was their pedigree.
That's what they
It was
do.
the last game they made before they shuttered, before they were like reformed by Microsoft or whatever the hell happened. But they did, Age of Empires 1, 2, 3, and then they did Halo Wars. And it was a Halo RTS, the one and only, and people loved it, and it was great. I want Halo Wars mashed up with Chivalry.
Okay.
I want you to be able to go down in the middle of these battles, like you send, your units, your tank, plus your arbiter or your master chief or your whatever Spartan to go attack. And then if you want to go into that battle, and I think there are games that kind of do this. It sounds like some of the Warhammer games kind of have similar features to this, but you go, and if you want, the reason I liked this idea is because the idea of the mob based chivalry type combat crossed with you playing as and I guess it's misleading to keep calling it chivalry because I didn't necessarily envision this as a mass multiplayer game, but being able to go into a battle in the middle of it and switch from an RTS view to a first person shooter or something where you're playing as Master Chief fighting hordes and waves of aliens, that if you win this battle, and if you're really good at the first person Halo type gameplay, you might actually turn what a battle that may be a loss, which is kind of the lore of Halo, is that a Spartan shows up and completely turns the tide of a battle.
Yeah, right.
And so you might be making a mistake from a purely RTS standpoint. Like you were sending in far fewer units than you need to take this outpost or checkpoint or whatever. But because you're way fucking good at Master Chief, you're way good at playing Halo itself, you win that battle. And I think that...
Are you visioning like each battle would be like a unique instance? Like you're going into a battle,
Yes.
or you're just like can zoom in and just like
you can either auto play the battle out and let what happens, or you can go into it and fight in the real time course.
That's almost like a Total War game. That's almost like a Total War. It's like a first person Total War, like Total War where you remember the old Battlefront games, the Star Wars Battlefront. It was kind of like that. Like you'd have the overmap and you're trying to do all this stuff, and then you'd like, I'm going to go into here, and then it would zoom in and you do the battle. It'd be like a better version of that.
Yeah.
And what's funny? I've thought about that so many times, having a game more like that, where you are. It's like two separate types of games, and again, they do kind of exist, but like in the way you're thinking about it, I don't
where you
think
can simulate a battle or fight the battle, just depending on if it. And it
Star
seems
Wars
like
Battlefront style. Like you
Mhm.
just like go in, you just play the battle,
yeah,
play the fight.
yes, that's what I like.
I want one of those. I did a since I mentioned Total War. I did a Total War one, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately because we saw that they were going to do possibly, it was leaked, a Total War Star Wars,
Total War Godzilla.
Total War Godzilla.
That's what I want.
Okay, just it's same as Total War, but it's all kaiju.
And you're just
Just like-
shooting useless small arms at the kaijus for no reason at all. My
Yeah.
favorite theme of all Godzilla movies is that people shoot at Godzilla with pistols and like rifles.
Like we've got missiles launching at it, and
and they're not doing anything. So guys, just stop, drop it, run away, like do anything other than what you're doing.
Run. If you hear
just run.
Godzilla's gonna come, you just
the guy
like,
has
gotta leave.
atomic fire breath.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Okay, so no, Total War. I want lots of Total War games. We've already talked about Total War, Lord of the Rings, which of course I absolutely think they should make. But Total War mashed up with Nintendo. Okay. This is like, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, do this with Total War and Mario. And I was like, no, just open it up. Total War Warhammer has like all the different factions. Dude, they have like a Mario faction, and they've got like all sorts of, because the heroes, and then they've got big armies that are like, Toad guys, and there's like Yoshi armies and stuff like that. But then you could have like what was the other one I was thinking of? No, like you could have Zelda. You'd have Zelda types of like a Zelda faction. And I'm like thinking all of the Nintendo properties where you could just like have them in there. It's going to be more cartoony, kind of how they did like Mario plus Rabbids. Like it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But like you could just do Total War Nintendo. And I feel like that would be like a breath of fresh air for Total War, because Total War games, while I love them, are a little bit samey. I guess same types of strategies and that sort of thing. Even the Warhammer one, a little bit samey feeling. Dude, throw in like a cartoony aspect with like Nintendo types of characters, I feel like would be a great game. So I want Total War Nintendo.
Dude, that's interesting. I kind of like that. I just feel like Total War Smash Bros. Total Smash Bros.
That's what it would be like, just like a bunch of Smash Bros types of characters and armies, and like, just it'd be a mishmash of stuff. I think it'd be so fun. I think it'd be great. Like I said, a good change up for Total War.
Okay, I've got one more. How many do you have?
I've got a couple, but really only one more that I really wanted to talk.
Okay, I'll do my last one, then you do the rest of yours. This one I'm actually pretty proud of, and I think this would be sick. Do you remember Wildermyth?
Yes.
Wildermyth was a branching, storyline-driven roguelike, correct?
Yes, and the story, the characters stayed with you.
Yes,
like
and
you would have characters
from story
from instance that would stay
in this roguelike, but then you do another run, and some of your characters would be like you. The beauty of it is it was tile-based combat, and you would make decisions in battle or decisions out of battle to sacrifice characters or potentially injure them in significant ways to win a battle. You just had to make these really tough decisions. And so someone might lose a leg, for example, and then the next run you might be able to play with that person.
That person might show up again.
They may have a peg leg and you can play as them, or they may retire because they lost their fucking leg. And you may actually be able to go back to them in your third playthrough, and they're like a wizened old person living in a cabin, and you can go to them to get information or like a cool new item.
Or you can recruit their children. I have one where I recruited one of their kids. So
it is so fascinating.
They do a really good job of that.
And there's so many storylines, and it feels like there's so many. It's just like you don't run into similar things very often, especially as the game is because we were playing when it was early
I
access.
want to play that again now.
Well,
Dang, I
guess
want to
what?
play Wildermyth
Now,
again.
oh, you're going to be even more mad because what I'm going to pitch you is going to make you want to play that. Wildermyth, that type of branching storylines and all the character development and everything, meets FTL.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people that listen to this podcast, I'm kind of thinking Phil, who play FTL a lot, when you get to a certain point of playing it, it kind of becomes fun to role play as the characters, the aliens or whoever is your crew on your ship. And some of them die because you're making tough decisions. And you're like, that I had to send him over there to fight. And it's similar to Wildermyth in that, like, you can just pause the game and like look at it and be like, dude, I'm gonna have to let this mantis die in order to make X, Y, and Z happen and save the whole ship because it's on fire. And if he doesn't die, I can't make this work.
Right.
Well, if that character had a name and a storyline and a different connection, like, I can see that. And that's my only other complaint about FTL is that it's just the one story. Yeah, it's a rogue game. It's the perfect quintessential rogue game. But adding an ongoing story
continuation
to it, I would
aspect.
never be able to put this game down. If
almost like Star Trek at that point, where like
a legacy.
Yeah, they would reference like a ship that actually made it at some point and be like, "Oh, we want to be like the Enterprise, whatever."
Right, and I think you'd probably change the main story of FTL in that case from a hard beginning to end. You'd probably still do a rogue loop, but it wouldn't be so definitive. But yeah, I think if I were playing this game 100 hours later and I ran into a character's grandchild from earlier, it would make this game, I'd never put it down. It would be a forever game for me, which I think Wildermyth is for a lot of people.
Dude, that I actually kind of forgot about Wildermyth and you mentioned it, and I'm like, and thinking about it, I'm like,
why don't they make more Wildermyth likes? I don't know why Wildermyth was kind of a one shot when this type of branching, and right now with AI, this is a good use for fucking AI.
Oh yeah.
This would be something that it could actually make a good game because you could have these amount of forever content, a procedurally generated AI driven story with like a pretty dope game on top of it. Yeah, I could get behind that.
JD, I just thought of something about FTL that I would like if you had like a continuation story like this. What if they could add something like the Nemesis system in there? So like whoever beats you, like you lose to some random rock ship, but they become like a boss, essentially, like a mini boss.
Yes.
And they're named.
And they're flying around. You run into them. You hope you don't run into them at
and
every
like,
stop.
We defeated the last rebel ship or whatever it is. Like oh gosh. I don't know why.
I'm sorry. I told you I was going to make you mad. I told you this was going to make you madder.
I had an FTL one in here too, actually.
What's your FTL one?
I did it because I knew you would do an FTL one, so I was like, I'm gonna do an FTL one. Mine is not as good as yours.
Not gonna be as good as mine, yeah.
No. But there's a game, this game series or an IP that I just really, really enjoy, and Steam World. They've got a Pirates one.
Yeah.
And what if they had just like kind of like a Dave the Diver Godzilla situation? What if they had just like an event that was tied to Steam World and you're like robot pirates and you're like, what? It's just like a different group of guys that you meet up with. They just add robot pirates to it. And it's but they're definitely Steam World characters. And just kind of like you could get a Steam World character, a robot pirate on your ship. I don't know. It'd just be kind of fun, like, because I just love SteamWorld so much, and I love FTL.
Yeah,
put them in there. I feel like there's so much you could do with FTL, just adding stuff.
What are those guys doing? Have they done something? Are they working on something?
I think they are. I think they're working on something. I just feel like you could do so much to FTL that would and not ruin the game. But yes, you're right. I am dying now. I really want Wildermyth FTL. That's what I want. Like you said, I would play that for 1,000 hours. Like I just want to play that. Oh, that would be so great. So much replayability in an already replayable game.
It's so stupid. No. And they have the multiverse FTL game, but that's not what I'm looking for here. Because that just adds more ships and everything to the core gameplay. What I'm proposing is like a complete overwrite.
It's just like adding an aspect to it, adding like a story aspect to it with names and characters and situations like that. And like sometimes you know how you can like and maybe like adding more tough situation scenarios. You know, you go to a planet or whatever, go to a sector, and it's like, oh, you got to send one of your guys into this ship, and sometimes you can lose them. Well, like, what if that was a named character and they disappear and they show up later and they've got like a story,
you betrayed them,
and they've been made a slave, right? The slavers got them, and like,
because that's the thing is sometimes I have had this happen before where a character I sent over to fight on the enemy ship, they jumped before I defeated them or got my character off this ship, and that would be a perfect like branch to have a rare event where that guy took over the ship and comes back and he's captaining it, and then you have to fight him because he's mad. Like you don't really necessarily need to change the core gameplay. It's the same.
You just adding
so it's like what we're asking what they did with multiverse, which I think they could do if there was the same modding team committed to this as there was to multiverse. I don't think it would be.
That's what I want. I don't even remember any of the other stuff we talked about. This
doesn't even matter.
That's what I want.
Oh dang! All right. So do you have any more? Or is that it?
No, ended on that.
Okay. Let's move on to dice.
Dice of Destiny.
Okay, Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be rolling the Dice of Destiny, a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. Then the person rolls a 6-sided budget dice to see how much money they can spend. Then they find a game in that genre for that price, pick it, play it, review it. Last week, Peterson rolled a building game. He has a budget of $50, and I
picked brand new game. It's in early access. It's called Abiotic Factor. One word, abiotic. Every time I say that, people are looking at Abiotic Factor. Yeah. That's Abiotic Factor. This is a game that came out earlier this month, May 2nd. The developers Deep Field Games. They've got a couple others. Core Keeper, maybe. Unfortunate Spaceman. So they got a couple other games, but this is a survival crafting game. It takes place, the way everyone describes it is essentially like 7 Days to Die meets Half-Life.
It looks like the original Half-Life.
It looks like Half-Life. That's the one thing I tell people. I'm like, dude, you gotta play this with me, but like, you just know, like, it looks like you're playing the original Half-Life. The graphics are not a thing in this game. It's fine. You're not like thrown off because of the graphics at all. But yeah, it's a survival crafting game, multiplayer, and you start off in a lab. You're just like some lab dude. You're just like a lab assistant guy. You can kind of select your role and things like that, but you're just a guy, and now you're stuck in this lab. It's your first day on the job. You have no idea what's happening. This happens while you're going through orientation.
Perfect.
And
every job I ever had.
Yeah. And then you're just like going through and you're crafting stuff. And what makes a difference is like you can break things down, but you're breaking down like desks and computers, right? And there's little creatures around. You like capture them or kill them, and I'll talk more about the gameplay of it. But yeah, you are going through. You're in a lab. You're in a science lab building, like a business building, and you're just collecting materials from inside the building. I haven't left the building yet. I'm seeing from the trailers and all that stuff, you do eventually leave the building. But this game, I'll just like quick preview. I'm a couple hours in, and it's a great game. So I'll have a full review of Abiotic Factor next week. Game has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. So actually,
I love seeing that.
Great time to get this.
Yeah.
So,
and it just came out. on?
Just came out. The number one complaint is that it is not finished. There's no ending yet. Kind of JD mentioned Raft. I remember when
Yeah.
JD first reviewed Raft, it wasn't out, it wasn't done yet. And so
Yeah.
there's like no
Same with
ending.
Planet Crafter.
Yeah. And so there's no
Oh,
ending
yeah.
to it, but the ending's coming, and this might be
Valheim.
a revisiting ours when 1.0 comes out. But
I put it on my wish list, but it seems like it's too pricey now for me to get a.
It's $25.
Yeah, that is for like Valheim was 15. Like
for an unfinished early
I need you to be
access.
Valheim or better, and 25 is really steep, dude. But I hope it comes. I hope it drops because this sounds right up my alley too.
Yep, I think everyone who likes survival games will like this game. It's great. So anyway, that's Abiotic Factor. I will have a full review next week.
Cool. All right. Well, that does it for us this week. Another clean 90 minutes for you guys because we respect.
I'm like, dude, spot on night. We're like right at 90.
That's how we do.
Dude.
To play us out, we've got the menu theme from the original Kingdom Hearts for all you Steam gamers that are.
So you guys get familiar with it because now you're in for a ride, Steam gamers.
Yep. Now you're gonna understand the story of Kingdom Hearts just like the rest of us.
You're gonna get it. It'll click now.
So easy to get. All right. JD, log it off.
And this is Peterson going AFK. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
Yep. See you, Snorgle.